Okay. Now, good evening, all. This is the NBC webinar season 2. Let me give a very brief intro. NBC was founded as a WhatsApp group to share views and info on business and decided to disseminate knowledge of functional aspects of business like exports, management, funding, startups, etc. With the lockdown, we moved online and continued with our knowledge dissemination program. This is season 2, and we decided to be inspired by legends who achieved things which their peers could not even imagine. These achievements were not given on a platter. It needed hard work and persistence and the courage to face the adversities. Now, I am Narayanan, an equity analyst who started off as a sugar analyst and then moved on to pharma. We had with us Dr. Ganesh Pandian from Kyoto University, Japan on 23rd. Today, we are having one of the most coveted guests, Mr. Vivek Saraogi. Generally, we'll see him only on CNBC or Bloomberg Quint. Now he has been kind enough to be on NBC. He is the legendary son of a legendary mother, Padma Shri, Mrs. Meenakshi Saraogi. He stepped into the management at a very young age. His appetite for capacity building in sugar began with the acquisition of Bavanan Sugar, a small 1,000 TCD plant. Now, Balrampur has a capacity of 76,500 TCD, making it the second largest sugar producer in the country. He is with us to explain his journey. Good evening, sir. We thank you for the kind acceptance of our invitation to discuss your illustrious journey from a single sugar mill to 76,500 TCD now. Let me start by asking, what was your age when you joined the business?
So I was barely 20 years when I came into business because in, a typically Calcutta Marwari family, you passed out from college and you passed out from school and your college was early in the morning. So I began when I was actually 19. However, seriously got into business at the age of 21.
Okay. Did you have any difficulty in adjusting with the senior executives who were all senior to you by many years?
So, for me, life was a little different. My mother was staying at the factory and she had gone when I was a kid of 14 years and my sister was 7. So I was just seeing business all around me all the time because when I used to go to my mother in holidays, she was talking work. When she came to Calcutta, during festival, my father, all executives are talking work. So I had a little mindset of acclimatization. So senior executives, I didn't have much of a problem because I kind of paved my way in very gradually.
Okay. So who was your inspiration and mentor in this business? And how did you become so passionate about sugar? You answered it, but little more detail about how your mother or whoever mentored you,
So my inspiration was my mother, her tremendous hard work, her grit. So she was a college, she had done her education as a BA in Hindi Sahitya, Hindi language. And she just went to the factory and took over in 1980.
Okay.
With no formal education, just hard work, pure tenacity. She used to stay awake the night. If there was a breakdown, she used to go to the factory, sit there until the breakdown got over. So that's the kind of background and hard work I saw the moment I started seeing business. So that tenacity and that grit left a very, very deep impression on my mind.
Okay. And even now, your friends say that you are such a workaholic. Probably you picked it up from your mother.
I just enjoy it. It's a coincidence. There's no holic. I enjoy work.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not a burden and I don't do it. I just love it. So I enjoy it.
Correct. You have become so passionate.
I don't see it that way. I see me discharging my duties. That's all.
Okay.
So another very important person who had a very deep impression in my mind was Mr. Suresh Nematia.
Okay.
So I saw him as my mentor. He was my guide. So he guided me on, how to do public relations, how to look at life, how to look at business. If you've heard of him, I think many would have. He was the chairman of Ambuja Cements, and is a very well-known person in our Marwadi circle as well as, in Delhi and Bombay circles. A man with a rare sensitivity, rare understanding of life and business. I grew up under him, under his tutelage, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
And my inspiration to hard work was my mother.
Okay. When many sugar mills were struggling to remain afloat, what gave you the confidence and courage to acquire sugar companies? Some of them were sick, some of them were doing well.
So, as you know, our first business acquisition was Babnan. It was in the year 1990, and I was 24. My mother was at Balrampur factory. We had one factory, and that was at 3,500 TCD. Now we decided, and there was some people who influenced the decision. My father also said, you must buy one more plant. And we went ahead and bought this factory. It was a 1,800 TCD factory. We paid 15 lakhs for it. 15 lakhs all through.
Yeah.
So there were government dues. I was asked to meet the chief minister, who had a negative lien of the factory because of cane dues. So I met him. I met with my father. I met the main secretary. They took a signed letter from me saying that when will you clear your dues? I asked for 1 year. So they said, we want it under your signature. Well, that left a very deep impression that I'm going to the chief minister and committing. I have to do what I'm saying. And from there began, mother used to look after the factory, and I was tasked by her to look after corporate office, banking, funds when required. She said, I will not wait 1 hour to pay the farmer, and I will not wait 1 hour to pay the supplier. So you better have the money before you take expenditure on any such thing. So we built goodwill with the institutions. I think we were lucky. God was kind. Babnan, we did a public issue at 10 rupees. The moment we did the issue, that Ayodhya incident happened. But within a year, the share sold at 150. And that's where the confidence began inside me as a human being. So people started trusting you. They started giving you money when you wanted. So that cast a very deep responsibility in my mind. And my mother's conduct at site and my uncle's inspiration. And even my father's giving me a free hand.
Okay. And I was one of those beneficiaries when I got the shares at 10 rupees. And I got merged with Balrampur eventually. And in 1992, that is why I came and met you.
It's your wisdom. That's not my anything. It's your wisdom.
Yeah. Okay. And there was an interesting thing that I saw. You took over units which were geographically close to your existing plants, except for a very few ones. Was there a specific reason for that?
So when we began this and we saw whatever, I was all of 24 when Babnan happened, and we had to run our own institutions, this, that. So we saw that the synergy of management, and that this was 1990, it's not 2020 now. Technology, etc., was not so vibrant. So we said, let us spread our resources in a very gradual manner. So if mother said, we thought if it's closed, she can go. She said, she was the head of operations, let's say.
Okay.
And we said, let us be managing the office of mother from one end. So there are various reasons, plus byproduct, easier to handle the byproduct, easier to synergize the byproduct. So these are very small considerations at that point of time, but it turned out to be a big boon in future.
Yeah, because I saw recent annual reports where you have even mapped the plants. And I could see that, because of the closeness, you are able to demonstrate that you can move one raw material to another factory, one finished product to another factory, which really became very synergistic when it came to ethanol, right?
Absolutely. And there was one more advantage at that point of time, I'm just recalling, that we had our goodwill in that area. Even though we were a small 3,500 ton player, in one region, Balrampur's track record for cane price payment was unenviable. It was very good. So when Babnan was the first factory to go, it's all of 100 kilometers away. So the geographical area is not very far. So the farmer goodwill traveled very fast. So when we expanded from 1000 to 2500 TCD, we got cane in our very first year itself. So it was the fact that our goodwill could travel. Suppose we thought if we go to West UP, let's say, so who is this person? Why will he pay us on time, whether others are not paying us on time? Those kind of questions might have come up. But here, none of those questions came up. The goodwill of mother having paid cane price and the company having a reputation of paying cane price in time helped expansion getting cane in the first year itself.
Yeah.
So that was cash positive in year one.
Okay. The factors of cost for all sugar companies in UP is almost the same, except for the interest cost. How is it that you are the most profitable?
So, sir, basically, we look at a lot of small things done well. There's no brilliance, trust me. There's no brilliance, no great things we have done. We've done small things well, and we've just not done much wrong. So it's like Warren Buffett says, you don't make errors.
Okay.
So we look at risk profiling very seriously, and we look at debt payment immediately. So the fact that we are light on debt is because we don't take unnecessary debt. We pay off debt the moment we earn money. So A, because of that. B, our working was very, very, what should I say, focused. So whenever we did something, we ensured that we don't do 5 things at a go. And Balrampur till date doesn't have any subsidiaries. So we focus our cash in our business. So just by doing that, ensuring good farmer relations, good recoveries, good cost of funding, and make good quality sugar, integrate byproduct of, convert molasses into ethanol, convert bagasse into power. So you're just using the entire, sort of byproduct into converting into a different product rather than selling molasses and bagasse. So these things done correctly and done well is all what you needed. That's what we have seen in our journey till now.
Okay. Brazil started mandatory blending of ethanol in 1976. When I met you in 1992, you mentioned passingly that similar move by India can benefit the industry, the farmers, and also the government. Finally, it happened in 2010. Your annual reports have been mentioning this point for some time. Can I assume that your foresight and persistent engagement with the government worked?
So you see, I am a part of a team. Let's say ISMA is a body, it has presidents. Yes, I've been fortunate enough to engage with the government because of my, proximity to many of them on a professional basis. So it's the moment you get a little goodwill, people listen to you easy. So if you got goodwill from the farmer, you got goodwill of UP government, then you got goodwill of the institutions, you paid them on time, that give you goodwill in the investors, you paid the suppliers on time, you got goodwill of the suppliers. So in India, it doesn't take much to get goodwill is what I'm seeing. You just do your small things correctly, you get enough goodwill here. You tell the truth that this is a bad year, investors happy with you.
Yes.
So basically, because of the goodwill, the engagement with the government became easier. So because you went and told them the truth also, straight up that, see, this is the cash loss, this is the figure work. If you want this industry to survive, this is your vehicle to rural prosperity. You're looking at spending so many millions and billions of rupees for rural prosperity. This is rural prosperity. So if I remember, when we bought Babnan, you would not get bread in the morning to eat around there. So car used to go to Lucknow get bread from my mother.
Okay.
Now, within a year, the property prices in and around that area after the unit became a success, there's so many things which came up. Property prices went up 10 times.
Okay.
And you could get everything in 2 years' time. There are people making tractor, there are people selling vegetables, everything. So, industrialization is a vehicle to rural prosperity. Though when that theme was understood by the government, and they said that energy is being wasted, both by way of bagasse and molasses. So basically, sugar is an energy crop if we see it.
Yes.
Physically, you have sugar, you get energy.
Correct.
Bagasse into power is energy. And molasses into ethanol is energy. So it's not an agri crop, it's an energy crop. So every drop of energy converted into its final product led to rural prosperity. Correct policies led to industry being able to pay a higher cane price. So we became a vehicle from the consumer to the farmer. And in the middle, touched all the lives of the common people by supplying electricity, supplying petrol, and supplying sugar.
Yeah.
So this synergy was well understood by the government.
Yeah.
And I think that's what led them to believe that cane being the hardiest crop, it does not destroy. There is agri distress. So at least let's engage with this industry to ensure that all concerned are in good shape.
Yeah. For the benefit of viewers, will it be possible for you to explain the ethanol blending policy? It's a big story, but you can keep it as brief as possible.
Okay, so very simply put, when we crush sugar, cane, you make sugar, you make something called bagasse, which is the powdered crushed cane, and there's something comes out which is called molasses.
Yeah.
Now, molasses is a necessary byproduct which will come out the moment you have a sugar factory.
Yes.
If you have a distillery, molasses is distilled. It gets distilled column-wise and dehydrated out of water. And then what you get is alcohol. The first stage of alcohol is something called rectified spirit.
Yes.
That is used by medicines and, it's used in other pharmaceuticals. It's used in many things. It's spirit, hand sanitizer, you've seen. It has a lot of medical application plus portable application.
Yes. Yes.
So then you go to something called ENA. It's called extra neutral alcohol. That's a better version of the rectified spirit.
Okay.
That is used, that's bought by all these liquor companies, and it is used into making portable alcohol.
Okay.
Then when you dehydrate it more and refine it more, it becomes something called ethanol. Ethanol is nothing but rectified spirit, which is 96% purity. Ethanol is 99.8% purity. This ethanol, which is made at the factory, is physically blended with the petrol. So an ethanol tanker goes from our factory, it goes to the petrol depot, it's physically mixed into the petrol tank.
Okay.
It just blends into its own.
Okay.
So if there are 9 liters of petrol, 1 liter is mixed of ethanol. And what you get in your car, you don't even know. It is petrol.
Okay.
So at times, if stations have less, they mix 5, somebody mixes 4, somebody mixes 10.
Okay.
So this is the ethanol program. Now, government, should I continue on the government buying now or just the process?
That is the policy. What is the ethanol mandatory blending policy?
So now the policy. Now what government said, earlier it used to be, people used to say you have to supply to the chemical industry. Where will alcohol industry get its raw material from? What will happen to government excise? And all kind of players created all kinds of confusion. The true policy has come in in 2014, when Modi government came in. That's when we engaged deeply with them, and we said that this is an state program globally. If you have to import, you lose foreign exchange. If you have to make the sugar sector viable, let's say you have to give some subsidy, you have to give out cash. The moment you give us a right ethanol price, our net position improves, our cash flow improves. You please factor this into our credit side of the P&L. So you factor in sugar sale price, ethanol sale price, power price on the credit side. You kindly tell me what cane price we have to pay, factor in that as cost, see my conversion cost. Just try and align the two so that survival is done. Therefore, When there is no loss, farmer will be paid on time, is the assumption, because raw material is a part of your cost.
Correct.
That's when this program began genuinely. They delinked it from crude for all effect. You can see it. Right
Okay.
now, this next tender also came out few days back. By the time crude had gone to 30, not 0,
No.
but it had gone to 20, sorry.
Yeah, 20.
So they said that oil marketing companies can mix ethanol and they can price ethanol at the percentage they are mixing.
Okay.
So let's say crude is costing you 50 at some point of time, this costing you 20, or the reverse. So your blended cost is 50 into 9 and 20 into 10.
Okay.
Blend the two, price the petrol accordingly to the public.
Okay.
So if crude is higher than ethanol, there is benefit to the public. Let's say if crude is lower than ethanol, there is some extra 20, 50 paisa public pays or public benefits.
Yeah.
Now that's passed on to millions of people via daily consumption of petrol, which we all fill on our cars.
Yeah.
So this policy is now a cost of production kind of method,
Okay.
where Government of India does export pricing, they give you export subsidy, they price your ethanol. Recently, they have something called BAV, I will explain.
Yeah.
And they price your power. So they see you as a overall balance sheet in their minds.
Okay.
And their primary objective is you should be able to pay your UP mandated cane price on time.
Okay.
Or their FRP on time, let's put it from central government.
Okay. 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 So basically, this ethanol blending is currently done at 10%, is it not?
Yeah, but it does not happen in all the states. There are some
Okay.
faraway states. So national average right now is only 5.
Right.
Some problem is at the industry side because there's not enough distillation capacity people have built. And there is some problem in some faraway states. But I see this
Okay.
improving gradually.
Okay. Okay. And also the policy for B heavy and C heavy also has been modified, right? That you don't have to actually make sugar, and while making sugar, you make molasses and then convert. Instead, you can directly go from sugarcane crushing juice to ethanol. That policy liberalization also has happened in
Yes.
2009. Right.
Yeah, last year. So what this means, if I will explain to viewers, B heavy is nothing but molasses loaded with sugar. So it, in effect, is the sugar being converted into ethanol. Now, government has given a different price for that, a 10 rupee higher price than from the normal molasses. Well, molasses is merely a byproduct.
Yeah.
This you're sacrificing sugar, so you should get your sugar cost. They've recognized that and put your B heavy price. So if that was not done, government would have asked us to export more. If you were asked to export more, the export subsidy burden on the government went up. Here, it was put into the petrol form.
Okay.
So there was no cash outgo from the government.
Correct. And also, now the industry is able to adjust itself. If the sugar price is low, you make more B heavy. And if the sugar price is a little higher, you can cut down on your B heavy and go to make sugar.
Yeah, there is limited flexibility today, but yes, there is flexibility.
Yes. So, which is what you have been pitching for a very long time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. And basically, with all this going forward, it looks like the company will be called Balrampur Green Limited or something similar, with the revenue from ethanol and cogen power overtaking sugar.
No, the revenue won't, but yes, there's a lot of profit which can come from them.
Yeah, yeah. So, and based on this, the industry is achieving its stability financial
Absolutely.
only because of this atmosphere and the policy framework.
Yeah, so there have been some other policy frameworks which I'd like to say. The government even went to mandate a minimum price. 31 rupees, you can't sell below that.
Okay.
Now, why did they do that? And they said you can sell limited sugar in the market. He said sugar is not your product to lose money, sell down because there's extra production. I am taking care of it. Please export your surplus. Please hold your sugar. I have made a buffer stock, which means you hold this much sugar on my account. I am reimbursing you interest cost. And you sell gradually into the market. Why? Because you have a big responsibility I'm casting on you.
Okay.
It's a national responsibility kind of thing.
Okay.
You have to pay the farmer at this price within this period of time.
Yes.
So
Yes.
based on that, this policy was devised.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of synergy thinking and support on this.
Okay.
There's been a lot of synergy thinking. So the government has gone the full circle to understand this business.
Correct. Correct.
And it has held our hand.
Yeah. And it has also given a very, very strong, stable foundation for the industry to grow from this level. This has never happened in the past 60, 70 years. The industry has been cyclical.
Yes.
Because
So,
you don't pay the cane
yeah,
grower, he
absolutely.
doesn't plant cane. That vicious cycle is now broken.
Because you're making companies like us, because of our efficiency and debt cost and overall savings, can make money. Basically, why was the cycle there, sir? Understand, in surplus, you lost money heavily.
Yes.
You had big dues for years.
Yeah.
And that led to the farmer shifting his crop. Now, in surplus, with such a policy, you don't lose money.
Yeah.
They
Correct.
protected your selling price, they've enhanced your byproduct price, and they've also kept a very high cane price, decently high cane price.
Correct.
So all the stakeholders have been looked after. Consumers getting a reasonable price. Industry, we are making money. Average industry is breaking even. Others are also making money, but I'm saying UP good mills are making money. Others are breaking even. And the farmer is getting paid.
That's very important. So the cycle is not going to be vicious anymore.
That's how I see it. Until there is some weather truancy, which we can't predict.
That is true. That is true.
Outside of that, I don't see production going down.
Yeah. And back to the current situation, lockdown and COVID-19, do you see any bottlenecks for the sugar industry in the interim period?
So we were very lucky. The government cast responsibility on us. In UP, touch wood, till now there have been no cases in all our 10 plants.
Okay.
Neither have I heard of any case in 100 UP plants.
Okay.
So we were not asked to shut for a minute. We were told you must crush the cane.
Okay.
Otherwise, the farmer at the fag end will get into a problem.
Okay.
So we crushed the cane. UP government gave us all the support possible.
Okay.
Even they helped us arrange lime, etc. from Rajasthan. Very proactively held that. So we are like concluding our crushing gradually. What's however happened, the demand for sugar will be low because all avenues of indirect demand, that is Coke, Pepsi, sweets, restaurants, malls, all are closed. So there is some demand which will get shaved off, but so be it.
Yeah.
Which will get back also quickly.
Yeah.
Ethanol lifting is low because obviously cars are not running.
Yeah.
But again, that will get revived back. So all in all, support from everybody and our workers and our managers at factory, our plant people, all of them have put their best foot forward. They worked hygienically and they worked all through this. The farmers have cut cane through your medium. If I can, I send them all my thanks and my good wishes.
Okay. And I was thinking, just loud thinking, you don't have enough storage for your molasses or ethanol for, beyond your capacities. When you are crushing, you make ethanol and you can't store it. And if it is not moved to the oil marketing companies, how do we balance the ethanol production?
No, sir, you can store it.
Yeah.
It requires some kind of accurate storage, which means tanks have to be certain distance, certain quality. You can store it.
Okay.
So there's no problem. You can store it, and the oil marketing companies are actually lifting outside this COVID times. They were lifting monthly basis pro rata of what they bought from us.
Okay. So,
So that part, and they were paying on time, sir.
yeah,
They still continue to pay on time.
okay.
Absolutely professional working.
Yeah, it's very good to hear that.
Yeah.
This industry, probably 5 years back, if we had done this interview, it would not be so pleasant. Yeah,
But I must compliment the central government and my state government.
correct, correct. I agree.
And people, there is no anything but engagement. It's clean business, sir.
Yeah,
Our CM, PM, all are very clean people.
yeah, okay,
And the level of engagement is more at the bureaucrat level.
okay, okay.
They won't leave you with any pots of money. You have to take it out with your hard work and efficiency and your lightness in debt, etc.
Yeah, because
So
Balrampur balance sheet is different from other sugar companies' balance sheets.
we are debt light, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Even today, we borrow our commercial paper at below 6% for a sugar company.
Okay.
With mutual funds and everybody giving it to you. So our engagement with the government has proved that, obviously we are lucky for representing the rural side of their wish list. Having said that, there is complete support.
Yeah.
And there is no profiteering, there's support.
Yeah.
And there is ease of doing business granted by them.
Okay. Now coming back to a small link with the stock market. This industry has been cyclical and the PE ratios have been quite low in the past. Maybe 3, 4, 5, less than 6. Now with the stability being achieved by the industry, do you expect a re-rating to happen in the market?
So I should have thought that it should be re-rated long back.
Yeah.
That's we continue to engage with the investors.
Yes. Yes.
Having said that, who likes what at what point of time is their choice. We can only tell our story honestly.
Correct. Correct.
And the rest is, who re-rates, why he re-rates. We keep walking our talk. So we tell people what is the current status, how we see things. We pay out. If you see Balrampur's payout ratio, it's remained constant.
Okay.
By way of payback to the shareholders, buyback and dividend, we have roughly, I don't remember, but I think we have paid 35, 33% over years or 40. Between 30 and 40, 35 and 40, I think. Okay. So our payout ratio is known, our dividend record is known, our philosophy is known, and thereafter, how somebody rewards it or doesn't is his call.
I'm generalizing the industry itself, not specific to Balrampur, but I'm just giving you an example. Pharma industry was not rated very well 6 months back. Post COVID-19, the whole market has been re-rated by probably doubling or tripling the P ratios. So when post COVID lockdown, you see some of the industries doing extremely well. There will be outperformers, which will be very limited in size. Sugar might be one of those outperformers because there is no cyclicity except for one small hitch, which also is not affecting. Actually, some of our people had asked me to request you to explain whether the international sugar price coming down is going to affect. You have explained in the past that it is a New York price linked to our subsidy.
Yes.
The export subsidy is linked to the US price.
Yes, sir.
Basically, if the New York price is lower, you get higher subsidy. And if the New York price is higher, the government pays you lower subsidy. So net, you are getting what you were promised. So international price actually doesn't matter for the industry at this moment.
I wouldn't say it doesn't matter at all. Now, government's ability to give subsidy is also limited. So if the prices go very, very low, it's not good for us.
Okay.
Secondly, what has been already announced for last year, there's 10.5 rupees. In the middle of the year, that won't be enhanced.
Yeah, okay.
Having said that, at Balrampur, we've done our quota and additional quota at almost 13, 14 cents when the price was very high.
Okay.
And we've shipped out our sugar, got our money. Even in this COVID times, we've completed our contract. Our dispatcher just concluded 1 or 2 days back
Okay.
with
That's
all the
good.
money. So you deal with good people, you get your money.
Yeah. Correct.
So we dealt with blue-blooded trade houses, we got our money. So as Balrampur, we sent out our goods. We were lucky to correctly sell the sugar, time it well, got additional quota, sold that also.
Okay.
So maybe if the nation was looking to export 5.5 million, maybe export will come down between 4.5 and 5.
Correct. Correct.
And next year's central government's policy, where they decide minimum price, export, subsidy, ethanol pricing, etc., comes out in September, October, usually.
Okay. Okay.
So hopefully things would improve there, and then we are, if it's 15 cents or 12 cents, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But
Okay.
9 cents is tough.
Yeah.
But I don't see 9 cents lasting by any chance.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Lasting means I'm not saying 3 months. I don't know 3 months.
Yeah. Okay. There is a one question which, if you are willing to go public, probably in 2008 you were about to sell the company to Bajaj Hindustan, and last minute that deal didn't go through. Is there something that you want to say, or it's not? You don't have to say that. If you are willing, you can share some information.
So, see, I don't want to be dishonest. So I'll let this pass because there are many angles to it.
I understand. But
so I will not lie. I'll let
put that question
silence answer it.
Yeah, I'll put that question in a different way. Are you disappointed or being relieved by not doing the transaction?
No, I'm delighted and not doing the transaction.
Okay.
Delighted.
Yeah, that explains. Because today Balrampur is there and Bajaj is not there.
No, let's not put it this way. See, all this God proposes, man disposes. Let us not take pride in all this.
No,
I don't take pride in somebody else's.
No, but when you talk for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, you are talking about the farmer.
So he's our raw material supplier. I can't import coal, steel, scrap and make steel, or get limestone and make cement.
Correct.
If he doesn't go the train, I'm gone.
Yeah, but if this had been sold, that farmer would have been affected. So you basically saved the farmer. Yeah.
Save myself.
Yeah. Yeah, because now this whole program was organized so that our youngsters can be inspired into doing what we have done and what we have achieved. I would request you to say a few words to the youngsters as to what you feel will be good for them.
I can only share my experience.
Yeah.
I don't know good, bad, ugly. So to the youngsters, I'd definitely like to say that in life, you've got to be serious.
Yeah.
You have to respect your business. You got to respect it like a mother. And you got to be committed to it.
Okay.
And if actually you should fall in love with it, if you can.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So the moment you do that, it does not seem like a burden.
Yeah.
And you have to be alert all the time. And you have to mentally shoulder the responsibility.
Yeah.
So you have to shoulder responsibility of what you are doing.
Okay.
You have to shoulder the responsibility of your team. And you got to lead from front.
Yeah.
So if you are there with your people, fighting out a crisis right in the middle with them, it goes a long way in inspiring the team. Yeah. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought I'd lost it. It goes a long way in inspiring the team.
Yeah.
And always know your business.
Yeah.
Always understand your business, the nitty-gritties of your business.
Yeah.
If you understand your business, your people around you will understand.
Yeah. Correct.
And the commitment and following it will generate, not for you as an individual, but for your understanding,
Yeah.
will go a long way in making your business successful.
Okay.
You cannot be casual.
Yeah.
Casualness is not allowed in business. No,
Yeah.
please don't do it.
Okay.
Two, do not divert money from your core business.
Okay.
So if you keep your money in your business and expand related, I'm not saying don't do work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying pick up money from here and put it there.
Yeah.
So if your money is in your company, you will inspire everybody around you.
Correct. Correct.
And it will lead to a lot of confidence building.
Yeah. Okay.
Three, always be honest to all your stakeholders.
That's the most important one.
Yes. It actually is not, being honest is your duty, it's your job.
Correct.
But here it's seen as a virtue. So make it into a virtue. You will get funds from banks cheaper. Your suppliers will come and give you cheaper, sir.
Correct.
So if Balrampur buys, assume we bought the distillery from Praj and boiler from KCP, I get 10% lower prices, sir.
Okay.
Because they know contract is signed, the goods are sold.
Okay.
And commission means paid.
Okay.
So with that brand value which they hold in their mind, you are able to get your goods cheaper. So your project, just see one project installation. You get your capital goods cheaper. You get your funding cheaper. From day one, you're more competitive than the others. Your inception cost is lower. So simply by being truthful to your stakeholders, you are actually making business sense. What is your basic duty? So if we look at these very simple things, I think they go a long way. The people around you will come to you to do business with you. So if we have a brand value, the people we export to, our CFO dealt with people, they give you a premium. Because they know if you give your word and market goes, and market, we started exporting at 12 cents. Market went to 15.
Yeah.
We exported at 13, 14, 15. So average, let's say, is 30, whatever. So, but at 12, when it went to 15, we didn't say we won't supply. So they know contract with Balrampur means done. So all I'm trying to say by giving these various examples is if you remain truthful, your contract has meaning.
Yeah.
The moment your contract has meaning, you get a premium.
Yeah. Correct.
So if your contract with bank has meaning, the premium means lower interest rate. So that is one very big advice to everybody around me.
Okay.
To my youngsters, be serious. Understand risk profiling. People, sir, I am surprised. People in this country just don't do risk profiling. It surprises me. You have to understand the risk every decision carries with it. An investment decision, whether you can afford the risk. Or that risk can take you down. And always expect the unexpected. And plan for it so that you can hold out bad times. So your risk profile must be commensurate to your size. So 20, 30, 40 years of good work should never rely on one decision which you make, which can bring down your business. So risk profiling, seriousness, commitment, that's what I've seen.
Yeah. So I come to the end of my questions. Now there are some viewers who have asked some questions. I'll post them to you. Yeah. One, when Global Sugar, will you be able to explain something about your NBFC, Oxilo Finserv?
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, our association in our minds, and see, when I'm saying our, I can be wrong, I have the right to be wrong. I'm a human being. So in our minds, our association is with good people and good businesses, good thinking.
Okay.
So here, NAM is a very reputed business house with very solid risk profiling and practices. So we have gone 50-50 with them and put up this NBFC. Our idea is to give money to the students post-grad going abroad, let's say for STEM courses, things like that. US, Canada, parts of Europe, Australia. Secondly, it is to lend to schools, maybe in Pune, outskirts of Bombay, not the tier 1, but tier 1.5 to tier 2 cities for infrastructure, etc. So let's say they want to buy computers or build a hall or build and make a new building for a new number of classes, etc. We try and have collateralized everything. And even in this trouble situation, we're doing a review. Since we've just begun, we don't see much trauma. Having said that, we want to build a business with best practices and come up with a fundamentally high class, high sort of proper product where these students get their money at a decent rate. Good with our advice, where we also do something to decent schools and we get paid back also. It's to build best practices digitally, go to good places, good schools, and get our return in the middle. Over 5 years, I see that we are in no hurry for book size. We are in no hurry. We again want only quality. So we are hoping in 3 to 5 years to build a good institution there.
So there is one question. Is it necessary for sugar company to have a brewery unit to become profitable?
No, I don't think brewery. Yes, distillery for ethanol. Yes, distillery for ethanol.
There are some companies having breweries. So
no.
yeah. Okay. So shall we build a company only for manufacturing ethanol and other byproducts alone and not for sugar?
Now the problem there is, where do you get the raw material for that? You'll have to depend on someone else. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So until you crush your own cane, in a shortage year, your entire asset will go to zero.
Yeah. I think the question is like that. I take a sugar license and I don't make sugar at all. I make only ethanol. Is it possible?
Now, if you do crush the cane and just take out the juice and divert 100% juice to ethanol, you have a lot of risks.
Okay.
And plus your pricing, etc., cane price policy, etc., is unknown. Tomorrow, the 1 year, if you have shortage, they will ban juice diversion to sugar.
Correct.
Juice will not be allowed to go to making sugar because the country needs sugar. Like 3 years back, 2 years back, for 2 years, you saw imports and shortages in 2019, 17, 18. So your asset will close down for those 2 years.
Okay. So, is there anything called light sugar for diabetic patients? How this is manufactured? No.
No. Not sugar, that's something else. Aspartame and all that, not sugar.
Aspartame and sucralose. Yeah. Of late, nutritionists are saying that white sugar is not good for health. What is your take on this, since most of us consume that day in, day out?
Don't feel bad. Sugar is the form of, it's an energy form. Now, sugar is as much a cause of diabetes as potato is.
Yeah, correct.
Now, the point is, the moment you have diabetes, you can't have sugar. The sugar does not lead to diabetes.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
So if you have diabetes, you can't have sugar.
Yeah.
So your diabetes, you're not even supposed to have potatoes.
Yeah, correct.
So sugar consumed and burnt. I mean, if you consume sugar and you put on weight, you'll get into 100 problems. That's your problem.
Yeah.
But sugar consumed and burnt, sugar is not harmful. Rather, aspartame is harmful. There are many WHO studies which says aspartame is very harmful.
Yeah, it is.
And sugar is not harmful, taken in right proportion.
Yeah.
Consumed indirectly, again in right proportion, it is not harmful. You have a problem if you have diabetes, you can't consume sugar, as I repeatedly say. But sugar does not cause diabetes.
Yeah, okay. There is one question. Are you making unbleached sugar also?
No, the market for all those fancy sugars is very small. We would look at something in the future.
Yeah. Somebody is asking, Mr. Devarayan, in current year compared to last year, sugar production in UP has gone up, whereas in Maharashtra and Karnataka it has fallen. Any specific reasons?
So UP's land and UP's weather condition, it is natural for cane growing. The water table in East UP where we exist is much higher. Maharashtra is just prone to monsoons. One bad monsoon and their production goes down. So natural region to produce sugar is UP. So any weather vagaries, these people suffer, UP doesn't. That's been the reason why this year Maharashtra has gone down and UP has gone up.
Okay. There are a few more questions coming in. Yeah. Always be honest to all the stakeholders. It makes business sense. Excellent. One comment which has come. Be committed, be truthful, fall in love with business. Basically building trust that will pay. Pearls of wisdom for all people who are in the business. Always expect the unexpected. Excellent words. Respect and love your business. Nice statement. What is the mixed proportion of ethanol in other countries?
So in Brazil, it's very high. In Brazil, it's in the 20s, high 20s.
Okay.
And other places, 5, 10, 15, etc. So all of them don't have this cane availability. Europe is a lot of beet sugar.
Okay.
So really large tracts of cane are in India and Brazil.
Okay. Okay. And to go beyond 10, our engines are not designed to take more than 10%, right?
So it can go up to 14, 13, 14 easily, these engines. But we need distillation capacity in this country.
Okay.
Now, people, sugar mill in Maharashtra, etc., probably are not so bankable. And with today's scared with the bankers, they don't lend money to many sugar companies. So our distillation capacity is not going up also.
Yeah.
So I won't blame the government here at all now.
Yeah. Industry has to
supply side problem, not a demand side problem.
Correct. Correct. Mr. Ravi Kumar is asking why branded sugar is still a failure. Do you see a future for branded sugar?
So in India, the consumer is very, very price sensitive. We did try branded sugar. We didn't take it forward. A very low percentage goes in it. 2, when you make branded sugar, you incur a lot of costs. Your packing cost, your distributor cost, your shelf life cost. So it must connote a premium.
Yeah.
Now, people don't pay that kind of premium here till now.
Okay.
I'm not saying it doesn't have a future, but maybe we are 3 to 5 years still away.
Okay. Encouraging utilization of biodiesel as an alternate for hydrocarbons in India. Your opinions, please.
So biodiesel itself, again, the sourcing is a problem. Okay. Like there was a story of Jatropha, there's that. It's still not available on a very large scale.
Okay.
So I'm saying ethanol has so much of applicability. Ethanol, Mr. Gadkari also said, can be mixed with diesel. One can look at that. Ethanol can be mixed with ATF, air turbine fuel. There's some exercising going on. There's some trial flights happening with ethanol.
Okay.
Mixed fuel.
Okay.
So our problem is if we are able to shape up the supply side, then we can go places.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah, correct. And somebody is asking if, what is your view on the alternate for sugar like stevia? Will it, will it have any major impact on sugar? No.
It will have a major impact on health.
Yeah. Okay.
And nobody better than you in the pharma sector to explain this.
Yeah. Okay.
So no major consumption.
Okay.
See, I can't talk a 0.5%, 1%, but no major.
Correct.
It's a fashion product.
Yeah. And somebody is asking what is your, your capacity utilization, your efficiency factor. I think you are
very high.
Yeah, very high.
90 plus.
Yeah. And I think when you make sugar in white color using chemicals, is it bad for health on longer run? Will it have any traces of chemicals in sulfurization?
No, I think the chemicals are used, but they're used in very small categories. I don't think it has any problem.
Okay. Okay. So we are almost at the end of the session.
Thank
We are
you.
very happy and grateful that you have.
No, I'm thanking you for calling me.
Yeah. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.